It podcast. I'm your host, Austin Gerke, and it is Prediction Friday. Again, yesterday was a scheduled off day, but there was plenty of sneaky news that came in yesterday, including Urban Meyer. I will talk about his hire to Jacksonville later on. There are plenty of other hires in the NFL world we got to get to, too, with Robert Saleh going to the Jets and former Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith going to Tennessee. But we also have games to watch in the NBA and the NHL as well. I'll pick the winners for tonight's games and the weekend games for both those leagues. And I'll give you the same thing for college basketball. Remember, I only choose the top 25. If I go conference by conference, this show would take forever. And in the before I go, I save the best for last. I'm going to give you my picks for divisional round weekend in the NFL. So we're going to kick off this show first with the games list. We're going to go into which sport do you guys want me to go with? NHL, NBA, or... Oh, and by the way, for all those watching on Rumble, hi. For all those watching on IGTV, hey, welcome to this sexy face. Anyway, if you guys want a certain order, please leave your comments in the videos, please. Anyway, since it's only me right now and just going off the voices in my head, no, I'm not crazy. This is how I operate the show. Okay, so when I say voices in my head, I mean that as a figure of speech, even though it might not be. But, anyway, of the three, we're going to go with the NBA first because I'm tired of talking James Harden or Kyrie Irving, but both of them seem to just not get it. I told you about my thoughts on the James Harden trade to Brooklyn. Is it going to work? Yes, but they're not going to win a title. They might get to the NBA Finals, but they won't win a title. They won't. And now Kyrie Irving is, he's been out either going AWOL for other reasons or COVID reasons. But he supposedly will be back. He's going to be fined, or he's going to stay out for 5 days. Probably be back as early as Sunday or Saturday, supposedly. But I don't worry about the news right now. That's my take on that news. But we're going to go to, since we're on the games list stuff, let's go to the NBA first. Go NBA, college basketball, then the NHL. Then I'll talk about Urban Meyer going to Jacksonville. But first, let's get to here. All right, the NBA list for the next 3 days. The winners for those 3 days. Wizards, Pistons, that game's postponed because of COVID. Any other ones? Grizzlies, Timberwolves, that game's postponed. Warriors, Suns, that game is postponed. Okay, so we've got 5 games up right now. So as far as the winners for tonight's games, I am taking the ones that are going to get played. I'm taking the Celtics over the Magic, the Knicks over the Cavs, the Bucks over the Mavericks, the Thunder over the Bulls, that game's postponed. The Hawks over the Jazz. Well, no, I'll take Utah. Never mind. I'll take the Jazz over the Hawks, the Lakers over the Pelicans, and the Clippers over the Kings. So now we're going to jump to Saturday. Let's see if there are any postponed games there. Okay, there's one. Pacers, Suns, so that game's off the table. So I'm taking the Remember, these are the Saturday games now. Remember, this may be title prediction Friday, but since I don't do shows on the weekends, unless you guys want me to, of course, but since I don't do shows on the weekends, this is how I do it now. So for Saturday's games, I've got the Blazers over the Hawks, the Sixers over the Grizzlies, the Heat over the Pistons, the Hornets over the Raptors, the Nets over the Magic, and the Spurs over the Rockets. Okay, so now that moves on to Sunday. Again, focusing on the weekend games here. So if you're moving it on, just clarifying, these are the Sunday list of games, and here are the winners for those. I'm taking the Celtics over the Knicks, the Bulls over the Mavericks, the 76ers over the Thunder, the Jazz over the Nuggets, the Kings over the Pelicans, and the Pacers over the Clippers. There is one game that's postponed. It's Cavaliers and Wizards because of COVID. But that is your NBA list. I'm not going to go further into the NBA stuff. That's because they create more drama than they need to. And you guys have, if you've been listening to this show before, even when this show was on Rumble and you had the audio versions of this show, you know what my stance is on the NBA. Even if it's a short season, I'm still not ready for it until the playoff time. Then I'll start giving it total evaluation. But now we're going to go to college basketball. Let's jump back in here. Let's see what games are on in that world. If there are any. There might just be none today. Remember, for my college basketball fans, I only focused on the top 25. If I went conference by conference, especially the Power 5 ones, this show would be an hour long. But here are the games for today inside the top 25. Davidson St. Louis is postponed because of COVID, of course. So, got Wisconsin over Rutgers. And that's it. That's really the only game on Friday. Inside the top 25, taking Wisconsin over Rutgers with 2 postponements. So let's move on to Saturday. I'm taking Illinois over Ohio State, Missouri over Texas A&M, Kansas over Iowa State, Michigan over Minnesota, Creighton over Butler, Baylor over Texas Tech. TCU and West Virginia is postponed, so that's why I skipped that one. Baylor over Texas Tech. There you go. I know Texas Tech barely beat Texas. What was it? Yesterday or the day prior? No, not yesterday. It was Wednesday when that game happened. You can go back. I know I had that in the games list on Wednesday. But, let's see. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Baylor over Texas Tech. Tennessee over Vanderbilt. Virginia over Clemson. I'm taking Virginia over Clemson. Texas over Kansas State. Louisville over Miami. Gonzaga over St. Mary's. And Arizona and Oregon are postponed. So sorry, Pac-12 fans, you got screwed unless I went conference by conference. But now we're going to skip to Sunday's list, see if there's anything in there. Iowa over Northwestern. Houston over UCF. Again, these are Sunday's games inside college football. I got Houston over UCF. Virginia Tech over Wake Forest, and that's about it. Yep, only 3 games on inside the top 25 on Sunday, so I'll repeat that again. I've got Iowa over Northwestern, Houston over UCF, Virginia Tech over Wake Forest, and that is your college basketball roundup. Don't worry, college basketball fans, I don't hate college basketball as much as I do the NBA. It's just right now, it's not conference tournament time, and who knows when they'll actually have the conference tournaments this year. But once it gets to that, then I'll go completely in depth and tell you who I think. I mean, I could right now. I'm going to go ahead and see just for myself. This is more of a research in depth just for you guys while you're listening. You guys are going, we don't care. I understand. So we're going to move on. Sorry, all that soliloquy for nothing. But now, let's get to the NFL news. There are now 3 new head coaches in the NFL. Urban Meyer will now be in Jacksonville. Robert Saleh will now be the new coach of the Jets. And Arthur Smith is now the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, former offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans, which means now it's a question of can Ryan Tannehill keep that going, but that's neither here or there. But of those three hires, there's one I love. The one that snuck by me yesterday, and it didn't sneak by the sports world yesterday, but I was reading this yesterday and going, Urban Meyer to Jacksonville? Look, there is no doubt that Urban Meyer is, when you look at his resume as a coach, is second only to Nick Saban as far as national titles, his ability to rebuild a program and make them competitive. But this isn't college, dude. It's not. I get it. You're going to Jacksonville, which has very little history of success. Yes, there were pockets of it when Tom Coughlin was the head coach, or Jack Del Rio, or even 2017 with Doug Marrone, and you had Blake Bortles and Leonard Fournette and Keelan Cole. Okay. But you think this is Urban Meyer doesn't believe it's easy. But, don't get me wrong. I think he is a great college coach. But like Nick Saban, he'll flame out real quick. And that's what's holding Nick Saban's resume back. Because Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach of all time now. But when you went to the NFL with the big boys, you only lasted 2 years. Granted, your win-loss percentage wasn't bad. But the minute Alabama was open, you took the chance. Right? Right? Congratulations, Urban Meyer. I think you'll do better than Nick did in the NFL. But you're going to last as long as he did. Watch. You know what? I'll make an early prediction for Urban Meyer. Remember, Chip Kelly had 2 10-6 seasons, and then that third one, where was he? 6-10 or 7-9, somewhere in there. And then they fired him, and now Philly hasn't been the same since. Urban Meyer's going to be more like Chip Kelly. Not the fact that he'll be innovative or anything, but he'll grind, and he's ready for the challenge. Okay. But Urban Meyer, you just won't last long. He'll be like Chip Kelly. He'll have a couple winning seasons. And then once he realizes how much of a grind, more of a grind it is in the NFL than it is in college football, then he'll quit again. Because remember, in Florida, he had health problems and the stress made it worse. In Ohio State, he had the pressure to keep that program going and it burned him out. If you're having problems in that level, imagine when it happens when you're actually coaching grown adults who really are independent contractors who need to get the money to feed their families. So have fun, Urban Meyer. I'm not saying you won't be successful. You'll be more successful than Nick Saban, and just as successful as Chip Kelly, and way more successful than Steve Spurrier or any of the other college to NFL coaches outside of Jimmy Johnson. But just like your other spots, you will not last long. You will not. Actually, Jim Harbaugh had a better record than you. But Harbaugh burned out and he loved college more. That's what's going to happen to Urban Meyer. He'll probably get the same, like I said, he'll be like Chip Kelly. 2 10-win seasons. Then he'll finish 7-9, somewhere in there. And then, poof. It'll be nothing. It won't mean a dang thing. Don't worry, hockey fans. I almost forgot. I almost forgot about you guys. I jumped right into the Urban Meyer story, and I completely almost forgot about you guys. But yeah, anyway, for all the people that are excited about Urban Meyer, there are questions, though, and I just don't think he'll last long. I think he'll be just as successful. Again, I think he'll be as successful as Chip Kelly, not as successful as Jim Harbaugh, not as successful as Jimmy Johnson, but he'll be more successful than Nick Saban or Steve Spurrier. He'll be more successful than, actually, Norv Turner wasn't a college coach, but still, it's that simple for me sometimes. He'll be in the middle. Like, he'll be better than Nick Saban was in the NFL, but he'll get the same reputation that Nick has. If I had to go by a win-loss record, he'll probably have 15. Actually, he'll probably have 20 wins by 2 years, but have a lot more losses. And he'll get so burned out by year 4 of his contract, or however long he extended into, that he'll be fired by 2024. Just watch. If he's fired or released before then, that'll extend the bet. But that is my take on Urban Meyer. He'll be okay, but slow down. Slow down. It's not. This is a dude who has never coached an NFL game. Never, ever, 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 ever. Never had an NFL roster. Never, ever, 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 ever. Yet, people in Jacksonville, you believe in Urban Meyer? Cross your fingers. See my fingers? Cross them. I know I'm using my right hand, but cross my fingers. Cross them. See? That's what I think of Urban Meyer right now if I was in Jacksonville. Cross your fingers. It might not end well. All right, now NHL fans. See, thank you. This sexiness almost forgot about you guys. Let's go into the games list for you guys. And then I will do the game picks to end the show. The NFL game picks. So let's get into the NHL stuff for the weekend. Let's go right now. Come on, phone, open up. Open up. There we go. Man, the one time you need your phone to operate faster. There you go. Okay. Let's go to Friday's games. We got the Capitals and the Sabres. I'm taking the Capitals to win that little 2-game stint that they're doing right now. With the Sabres, I'm taking the Penguins to bounce back over the Flyers. I'm taking the Lightning to beat the Blackhawks. I'm taking the Maple Leafs to beat the Ottawa Senators. And I'm taking the Blues to beat the Avalanche. That is Friday's schedule, which is today. Saturday's schedule, I'm taking the Knights to beat the Ducks. As much as I love the Ducks, it's still a work in progress to rebuild that team. So I'm taking the Knights to beat the Ducks. I'm taking the the Bruins to beat the New Jersey Devils. The Sharks to beat the Coyotes. And the Oilers to beat the Canadiens. The Islanders to beat the Rangers. The Hurricanes to beat the Red Wings. The Maple Leafs to beat the Senators again. The Predators to beat the Blue Jackets. And the Minnesota Wild to beat the Kings. And what was the other one? Oh, and the Canucks to beat the Flames. So that's Saturday's list. So then we'll jump to Sunday, and then I'll give you my NFL picks to end the show. For Sunday's games, I am taking the Penguins to beat the Capitals. There's only 2. I am taking the Penguins to beat the Capitals and the Florida Panthers to beat the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, the Panthers were supposed to play the Stars for this week, but because the Dallas Stars had a COVID outbreak, they had to delay their season a few days up till at least the earliest January 19th. So the Florida Panthers are finally going to get their season underway on Sunday. But it'll be there. I'll take the Panthers to beat the Blackhawks, which now leaves the best for last. Normally I name this before I go, and it is before I go. But actually, no, it is before I go. And I'm saving the best part for last. There's no stats necessary because this is straight up picks. I'll tell you why each team could win. I'll give you the pick. And then peace out for the show. So, let's start with the NFL picks. It is divisional round weekend. Is this the best weekend in football? No, not really. The championship weekend actually is. But for most people, divisional round weekend is. So we're going to get this underway. First game on Saturday is the Packers and Rams. I am taking the Packers. Are they going to get 30 points on the Rams? No, they'll probably score at least 28, maybe. So 28-24, Packers over Rams. The second game on that Saturday is Buffalo and Baltimore. The game is in Buffalo. There is a chance of snow. So much so that Lamar Jackson is scared to play in the snow. It's fine. It's fine. But I'm taking Buffalo to win 30. Or not even 30. Well, because I can't do 28-24 all this time. 23-16 Buffalo. So right now I've got the Packers and the Bills winning their games. Which now shifts to Sunday. We got the Browns and the Chiefs. This is the one that I just don't think is close. The only way I think Cleveland could win this game is if they just run the ball like crazy. Chubb and Hunt both have like $150 in yardage. And they both get at least 20 carries and $150 in yardage. That's maybe how the Browns win this game. And they have the point of possession stuff by at least... They lead, not point of possession, time of possession by 10, 15, or 15 minutes at least. Okay? That is the only way I see the Browns winning this game. They will not. But if they have a chance, that's how. You're going to have to run the ball like crazy. Baker has to make the right plays when he is called upon. And just make sure Mahomes does not touch that ball. That's it. That's it. Because, okay, this one, the Chiefs will score 30. They might even get 30. They might get 35. Okay? To be fair to the Browns, they'll probably keep this close. But I'm taking the Chiefs 35-21. So again, so far for the picks, I'm taking the Packers, the Bills, and the Chiefs. The scores, 28-24 Green Bay. 23-19 Buffalo. And 23-19 Buffalo over Baltimore. And in Kansas City and Cleveland, I'm taking Kansas City 35. Cleveland 21, which leaves the final game of divisional round weekend, and it is my Buccaneers, my Bucks, against the New Orleans Saints. Round 3, Brady Breeze. Round 3, crossing my fingers once again. I know this is a shoddy way to cross your fingers, but man, this is going to be... That is probably going to be the best game of the weekend. If I had to rank that, the Saints-Bucks game would be number 1. Bills-Ravens is number 2. And Packers-Rams is like the third best game to watch for this weekend. And the fourth is Cleveland and Kansas City. But You know I have to take the Bucks. My fandom is too deep. And I got Tom Brady. It's like playing a game of Uno. The question is, and by saying playing a game of Uno, is Brady is a draw 4 card. All you got to do is throw it to the person to your left or your right. Everybody who knows how to play Uno has played that card before. And it has screwed everybody else. Right? It has screwed everybody. That's what the Bucks have with Tom Brady. We've got Evans who's coming back healthy. Well, he says he's close to 100%. But who knows? Ronald Jones was able to practice. Okay. Chris Godwin limited in practice. Evans limited in practice. Jason Pierre-Paul didn't practice. He'll be a game time decision though. At this point, the only thing that's holding this back is what is the score going to be? What I fear the most is what I feared last week with Washington's defense. But the Saints have a better front four. Washington has a potentially talented front four. But the Saints actually have a good front four that can stuff the run and get to Brady. Now Tom Brady has to get rid of that ball quick in order to have a chance or run the ball. Period. That's how the Bucks win this game. Have to run the ball. They haven't done it all year. They've been very pass happy all season long. But they need to run the ball. Plain and simple. Now as far as the score, Tampa 30, New Orleans 28. 30-28. So that means 2 teams will score 30 points this weekend. That was the average. That was the results of last weekend as well, where you had 2 teams score 30. It was Cleveland and Tampa that scored 30 points last weekend. It's going to happen again. It'll just be Kansas City and Tampa. But once again, Tampa has to run the ball to have a chance. I think they will. Everybody may not be healthy, but they'll be ready to play. And fingers crossed, Tampa will win this game 30-28. Now, for the Bucks fans who are riding with this, I know that, okay? But don't be sad when they lose, or if they lose. I don't want them to. None of Bucks Nation wants them to. But if they do, don't be sad about this season. Don't buy into the media that believes this is going to be a failure if the Bucks don't make it to the Super Bowl. Are you kidding? Tom Brady did change the Bucks franchise around in almost a year to where he made a 7-9 team go to the playoffs at 11-5 and win a playoff game for the first time since we won the Super Bowl in 2002. But anyway, go Bucks, raise the flag. Every Bucks fan around the world, it's go time. For all you Saints fans in Louisiana, you know your little chant, who dat, who dat, who dat, say they gonna beat them Saints. Bucks will. Go Bucks. This has been Before I Go. Oh, gotta do the obligatory stuff. Whoops. Thank you for listening to the Austin's Audit Podcast. I've been your host, Austin Gerke. Don't forget, you can listen to, well, not don't forget, but you can listen to this show on Podbean. Just search for the Austin's Audit Podcast. You can also listen to this show on Spotify, Google, Apple if you know the trick, Deezer, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Pandora. And for my Amazon Music listeners, just if you have your Alexa-enabled device, just say, hey Alexa, play the Austin's Audit Podcast on Amazon Music. You can also follow me on Twitter. My handle is @Austin_Gerke for post-show interaction. You can also follow the show's Facebook page. Just search for the Austin's Audit Podcast. And as soon as Parler gets up, backup, I will give you the Parler stuff as well. But because of how vengeful and vindictive people are, Parler is still off, which is kind of sad, but still. Anyway, the last thing I want to send you off with, if you want to see this beautiful, sexy face, hi, you can follow this show on Rumble. Just search A.D. Gerke. That is A.D.G.E.H.R.K.E. That is A.D. and my last name, which is G.E.H.R.K.E. The only letter in that search that is capitalized is the letter A. And also make sure that this search is set to channels, not videos. It is set to channels, not videos. Once you search A.D. Gerke, click subscribe and you will get every episode up to this point. From the very first episode I did way back on January 18th of 2020, all the way up to, where am I now? Episode 144. So follow me on Rumble. For all you Instagrammers, yes, I still post the audio version I still share the audio version from SoundCloud, but now I figured out IGTV and I put the video versions of this show on there as well, and you'll get that as well. Until then, I know this is a long show, but I will see you guys Monday. Enjoy divisional round weekend and every other sport. See you guys on Monday. You've been listening to the Austin's Audit Podcast, and I've been your host, Austin Gerke. See you guys Monday. Peace out.